Good evening, good morning, wherever you might be. It is the Matty Highland Smitty McQueen Sports Show Late Style Sports Center edition. It's crazy. It's late. It's 11:20 here on the West Coast, but hey, that's all right. We're gonna get you through this show. We said we'd get this done today. Hopefully, it works. So if it happens to not, sorry. We tried everything we possibly could to get this show on the air tonight, today, and this morning. So let's just dive right in. What we're going to be looking at tonight, this morning, is the Christmas Day basketball recap. We're going to have our NFL recap, our weekly NFL power rankings, bowl results, and previews, along with some college basketball, women's college basketball. The Oregon State Beavers, that's who I was covering tonight. It was an awesome time. I'll explain more on to that later in the show. So if you are in Oregon tonight on the West Coast and watching, make sure you catch that along with our annual men's AP week, I believe 8 top 10 rankings. Let's do this. I mean, what else do we have to lose? We're trying everything to get this show in for you guys. I am especially my aunt, my producer tonight, my Aunt Cherie. Appreciate everything, all your hard work. While I've been here in Oregon, it's been a fun time as well. So let's dive in. Breaking news to begin tonight/this morning. The NBA announced that Durant was fouled on the last play of the game versus the Cavaliers back on Christmas Day. That's 3 days ago for some of you. Almost 3 days for the people here. Also, there was word that LeBron James should have been, or there was mention that LeBron James should have been assessed a technical foul for doing a pull-up on the rim while he was hanging. That is kind of the hot topic right now in the NBA. I also read where Kevin Durant said, this isn't that big of a deal. It hurts the referees. You're just going out there and saying to the refs, hey, you just messed this whole thing up. So I get it. It puts down the NBA's, the refs in the NBA. I don't really like it too, because as a fan, you already know they messed up. Why do you want them to just come out and tell you, yeah, we messed up on the officiating? Let it go. It's another day. I mean, if someone's still ticked off about that, then you know what? Then they have not as quite of a good life, I would say. So anyway, that is that. Now we will move on. KU loses their center, and I'm going to hopefully say this right. Udoko Azubuike. I've said this like 3 times. We've been trying to get the show on today. Finally, hopefully I got that right. I kind of stumbled at the beginning of that. But he is done for the season with a wrist injury. This is a big effect for KU. Matty Highland, I wished he was here. Unfortunately, you are sleeping right now. Hopefully you are having some great dreams, about the show or something. But anyway, Matt, this is a big key loss, I think, to KU. You told me earlier the depth. This is a big loss for the depth. So, hey, that's that. A petition has been made that calls for Minnesota to fire their head coach, who recently was supportive of a protest or of a boycott of the Minnesota football team for the 10 players that are being charged for sexual assault. This is a big situation. I understand both sides. Hey, later on you're going to hear about Minnesota in their bowl game as they were playing tonight. So we'll talk about that. But this is an interesting topic to watch. I think last I had seen 400 people had signed this petition. So definitely something to watch. Also, the Bills today announced they have fired. He's gone. The head coach, Rex Ryan. Oh, and his brother, Rob Ryan, the defensive coordinator, he's gone too. Both Ryan brothers out. This results in another seven. This is their 17th, the Bills' 17th consecutive year that they have been in a drought of reaching the playoffs. I'm not sure what this means for the Ryan brothers. For Rex, I think he has to go back to being a defensive coordinator. For Rob, he's kind of struggled wherever he's been with the defensive coordinator. So this is something to watch for both of these guys. Who knows? I don't know if they'll go down to the college level or what's going to happen. But that is that. Bills announced that their offensive coordinator, Anthony Lynn, will be taking over as the interim coach. Not much really to be said. He's got 1 week to show who he is. If the Bills even consider staying in their house, in the franchise, to keeping that guy, unless they want to go out. I have heard that the GM is going to be on the search committee. So that is, a lot of people were saying, the GM might be fired. I'm not so sure right now. Sounds like he is a part of the coaching search that will be going ahead. Also, the Bills announced that Tyrod Taylor will be benched this week just because of injury just because of his contract situation with if an injury occurs, he will be owed a bunch of money if he cannot pass that physical in March, I believe it is. So that allows EJ Manuel to get under center, take some snaps. They don't feel Cardell Jones is ready, former Ohio State quarterback. So they want to just give EJ Manuel the Week 17 start. Try not to hurt Tyrod Taylor just for that salary money and all of that good jazz. So that's all our breaking news. Hopefully this stream's working good. We're going to get into our schedule. We're going to go into the Christmas basketball. Then we'll go back to the NFL Pick'ems, or our NFL Pick'em recap, or the Week 16 recap, sorry. And then we will go into our weekly power rankings, followed by the bowl results and previews, along with, then finally, our women's college basketball edition tonight. That's right, women's college basketball will be being brought to you tonight. And then also we will finish with the AP Top 10 college basketball rankings. So let's dive deep down into this Christmas basketball. Some good basketball, obviously. 3 days ago it's happened for most of you. If you are in Kansas watching this, here in Oregon it's still 2 days ago, but it's 20 or 33 minutes away from being 3 days. So let's bring it to you quick. That way we can just, Christmas Day basketball has been covered. It was a good day. The Celtics held off the Knicks 119-114 in Madison Square Garden. They held off the Knicks comeback. The Knicks got there, but they did not quite get it done. Very tough loss for the Knicks. The Cavaliers, they rallied to edge the Warriors 109-108 thanks to Kyrie Irving's dagger near the final seconds of the game in the first rematch of last year's NBA Finals. Obviously, some controversial officiating we talked about at the beginning of this show. Next off, the Spurs. They used a huge first and fourth quarter to beat the Bulls in the AT&T Center 119-100. They had everyone back. LaMarcus Aldridge played great. He had 20 points through the first quarter. 9 of 9 shooting. That is a great day in the office, and that was just the first quarter. He ended with 33. Next, Westbrook. He fuels the Thunder once again. This is just an every night occurrence for Russell Westbrook. He beat the Timberwolves. Him and company beat the Timberwolves 112-100. Tonight he recorded his 15th triple-double of the season. I did see that stat come through. And next, the Lakers. They come away with a 111-102 win over the shorthanded Clippers in the Battle of LA at the Staples Center. Yes, the Lakers were the home team in that game, even though both teams play at the Staples Center. Yes, the Clippers were without Blake Griffin, Chris Paul, and J.J. Redick. Not much really to be said. The Lakers are an up and young coming team. Give them a few years and they're going to be back to being the Lakers we know in the playoffs. This brings me to my next and last topic about the NBA. And it's been a lot of talk lately how all these teams are resting, yes, resting their players when they go on the road. They don't even take them. Lately, Memphis and Cavaliers played a back-to-back with each other. The first match was in Cleveland. The Cavs then the next night did not take LeBron, Kevin Love, Kyrie Irving to Memphis and did not even play them, obviously. I think this is something that needs to maybe be addressed, but I see the logic. I see the logic behind it. This is a very, fans putting a bunch of money to come see these guys, and they're not, first off, even there, and next off, not even in uniform. Obviously, I'm a Spurs fan. I'm used to it. We're old. They're old. They need their rest. NBA, why don't you shorten your season up? Get rid. I love the East-West and the home and away with East and West team. You go to their place, they come to your place. I love that. The division games, Western Conference against Western Conference. Eliminate some of those division games. And same in the Eastern, obviously. Eliminate some of the division games in the same conference. That's my rant on that, I guess. I don't see a big problem with it, though. You're trying to save these guys for the playoffs. I think the NBA, though, needs to shorten the season because no one watches the NBA unless it is games like Christmas Day. These holiday games where they're broadcasted live on National League TV when there's no football or, all that on. The next thing I love is they just need to get to the playoffs. That's when everyone loves basketball in the NBA. So that's when they actually go 100%. Enough of NBA rant. Why don't we move to the NFL Week 16 recap? Matty Highland pulled out the 9-5 record this week. I went 8-6. Matty gains one game back on me. I still lead though 57-31. Matt is 56-32. Going into this weekend, 14 of the 16 games had playoff implications. That is crazy. That is awesome for the NFL. It's awesome for football. We need this. Every sport needs this. It's awesome. It's great for the fans. It's great for the people. They're going to get views, obviously, in these. The Redskins will lead off. This is where I just slipped. I went with my gut instinct. I wanted to represent my dad, and I tried my best, but they let me down. The Redskins, they took care of the Bears. Pretty easy, 41-21. They keep their playoff hopes alive, needing a win versus the Giants, first off, to have any shot at the playoffs. And then they need help in the Sunday night game with the Packers somehow beating the Lions, which I think is very possible. So if you're Washington, here you are. You threw it out the window 2 weeks ago against Carolina, last week against Carolina, and now all of a sudden you got a chance still. You got to capitalize. Let's see how they rebound when they're in a must-win situation. Matty took the Redskins. Smart pick by Matty. Dolphins. They spoil the Bills' hopes of a playoff chance with a 34-31 OT win in Buffalo, also ending Rex Ryan and Rob Ryan in their Bills' career or whatever, their coaching campaign, whatever you must say. Matt and I both took the Dolphins. Watch out. Matt Moore is the real deal, guys. He is 2-0. Yes, it was the Jets, and yes, it was the Bills. But what he did in the last few seconds of that game in Buffalo to get the team into field goal range, that was huge because they started the season 1-4, but now the Dolphins are in the postseason. Yes, for the first time in 8 years, thanks to the Denver loss to the Chiefs on Christmas night. So huge props to the Dolphins. They're back in the playoffs. Everyone wanted this. Awesome job. Next, we got the Patriots. They routed the Jets. Not much to talk about here. They won 41-3. They inched closer to having home field in the AFC playoffs. It's going to happen. The Patriots are for real, people. It's going to run through Foxborough again. The only way you're going to be able to get to the Super Bowl is if you go into Foxborough and get the W. So that's obviously the big factor. If you are a Patriots fan, you are probably going to host the AFC playoffs until you get beat. If you get beat, that is. The big question I have, or the big topics I got leading out of this, does Todd Boyles return next season as head coach? It's a very interesting topic. They don't have a franchise quarterback. Ryan Fitzpatrick, thank goodness they only signed to a one-year deal. If they would have paid him millions of dollars like Brock Osweiler, oh, they'd be itching their head too. You know, I don't know whatever else they might be doing. But it's a big, big thing because Bryce Petty is not ready for the NFL yet. I think he has some potential. He just hasn't got enough experience. The next thing, do you feel like it's time to, I feel like it's time, I guess I shouldn't be just reading off the script. I feel like it's time to just hand Tom Brady the MVP trophy. And that's hard to say because I want either Dak or Zeke to win it. Tom Brady is doing Tom Brady things, and we're going to get to that later. Matty had some comments. He wanted me to get in on his power rankings, so I will save that for then. Tom Brady, though, I think, hand him the MVP trophy. It's ridiculous how good this guy really is, and it's awesome. I mean, it's awesome for the game. The guy came back with a statement to make, and he's done it so far. That's enough of the Patriots and the Jets. Let's move on. Titans playoff chances get thrown out the window along with losing their franchise young second-year quarterback Marcus Mariota against the Jaguars, who ended their 9-game skid in a 38-17 win over the hot Titans at the time. Matt and I both took Tennessee. However, we did not think that obviously Mariota was going to get hurt. That's a huge loss for this team. Mariota suffered a broken fibula in his right leg, requiring season-ending surgery, resulting in a 4 to 5 month recovery time. I'll tell you one thing about Marcus Mariota. I saw that Heisman Trophy earlier today in Autzen Stadium. Amazing, amazing view of the trophy. From what I was told, he wanted to keep that trophy in Oregon. That just shows the type of guy he is. It's about a team. It's not about himself. What grade do I give Marcus Mariota after his second year? It's a pretty good grade. It is a B+ to an A because Marcus Mariota did some good things. The key thing now is, though, how healthy this is his second year. He hasn't finished a full year in the league. Yes, he was 1 week short of finishing a full season this year. Something to keep an eye on, though, with him. I believe the Titans will be the favorite. Right now, the Titans going into next year, and obviously the playoffs haven't even began. The season's not even over. But I have the Titans being the favorites in the AFC South going into next year if Marcus Mariota comes back healthy. If he comes back healthy and if they get some better offensive linemen to just give him some time, they're going to be a solid team. Watch out for the Tennessee Titans next year. Packers, they extend their win streak to 5 with a 38-25 win over the Vikings, thanks to big games from who other than Aaron Rodgers, who found his favorite target, Jordy Nelson, who had another big day for the Packers. Matt and I both took the Packers. I mean, what's new? We both took the Packers. And then next off, Rodgers and Nelson set the Packers record for the most TDs as a duo with their 58 touchdown completion reception ratio. That is awesome. Great job for both of those guys. Jordy Nelson, remember, he was a walk-on at Kansas State, who is now in a hometown Kansas kid who walked on at K-State, and now look what he's doing, setting records in the NFL. It's an awesome story, a lot like the Ron Baker story. Next off, Packers can clinch the NFC North with a win next Sunday at Detroit. It happens. I'm telling you guys, the Packers are back. They are a scary team right now going in to the postseason. Watch out for this team if they can keep their defense healthy. That is the key part to the Packers. Falcons, they claim the NFC South Division with Sunday's 33-16 win over the Panthers, thanks to the Buccaneers' loss on Sunday to the Saints. Matt and I both had the Falcons. Falcons are for real, people. And the Falcons can clinch the 2 seed. Yes, the 2 seed. They can have a first-round bye with a win next week or a Seattle Seahawks loss. However, the Seahawks play the 49ers. That's not going to happen. So they need to win that game. Next off, I think this Falcons team can get to the NFC Championship. I really do if they get the number 2 seed. Going to the Superdome, whatever it's called, that is a tough place to play. They are deadly in there, and if Matt Ryan and Julio Jones, who is starting to looks like getting healthy, watch out for them. They're going to be a scary team. Next, Raiders. They get a huge win, but lose a key piece that could put a huge damper in the way their season could finish in a 33-25 win over the Colts, while also knocking the Colts out of the playoffs. Does Chuck Pagano need to feel like he's on the hot seat since missing the playoffs for a second consecutive season? I believe so. He is not this Colts team. 1 week they'll just put up a ton of points. They'll look really good. They'll look like the favorites in the AFC South, but they can't do it back to back. They struggle. It happened again. Luckily enough, Raiders had a big enough lead when Derek Carr went out that it helped. I believe Chuck Pagano might be on the hot seat, and he might be seeing his days as a Colts head coach out the window. Next, speaking of Derek Carr, shortly after the game, head coach Jack Del Rio announced Carr suffered a broken fibula in his right leg that was going to require surgery. That means Matt McGloin now takes over under center. How far can he take this Raiders team's the big question. They've got weapons. They do have weapons on the outside. The running game started to look good. I'm just not sure yet. I'm not sure. I'm excited to see how they do against the Broncos. Everyone's accusing me of saying, well, yeah, but they don't have a quarterback. Hey, when you got weapons on the outside, and if your run game's all right, you can still go somewhere. I mean, you really can. It's how good the offensive line protects that guy. We will find out. They have a tough test going to Denver this next Sunday. Saints play big spoilers, knocking the Buccaneers out of the postseason hopes with a 31-24 win. I took the Bucs. For some reason, I thought they'd bounce back. They didn't. They didn't. And the Saints proved me wrong. They let me down all year. Finally, they don't let Matt down, so that's a good thing. Really not much to talk about here. Besides Jameis Winston, he had a great year. I'd do the same grading as I did with Mariota, B+ or an A. It was just an awesome performance by those two guys in their second year in the league. Next, Cardinals go into the 12th man and pick up a rare win in a 34-31 knockdown in Seattle, knocking the Seahawks down to the 3rd seed in the NFC. I don't think Matt and I saw this one coming at all. Yes, these teams tied at the beginning, in Arizona, but going to the 12th man and winning, that's a pretty good, especially when you're knocked out of the postseason. They showed great fight, and the Cardinals did, and they showed great fight getting and setting a game-winning field goal up as time expired. Seahawks, though, lose another key piece, this time on the offensive side, as wide receiver / return man Tyler Lockett suffered a gruesome fractured tibia and fibula in his right leg, resulting in season-ending surgeries. 3 key young guys go down with leg injuries this weekend, gruesome ones. And if I've seen people who have been so excited that someone's been hurt, and I'm not just picking on teams, but Derek Carr is one of those guys that everyone was happy about that I saw. Not everyone, but most people. I am sorry. Gruesome injuries are horrible. You never want to see someone get hurt. And if you do, you need to look in the mirror and ask who you really are. Because having a gruesome injury, it is not fun. You have no idea the pain. You have no idea the recovery, any of that stuff. It is harder than you think. It hurts. It's a constant reminder in your head. I've had a gruesome injury, not in the leg, the arm. That was hard enough. I can't imagine a leg. So those of you that really are happy about injuries and stuff like this, just for your team, it's not very, you need to look in the mirror because it is very wrong. Something that you shouldn't be very proud about. Sorry about that rant. Next, are the Seahawks a top contender in the NFC now? I'm not so sure. The offensive line's not the greatest. The defense, they've shown up. They need home field advantage, which they can only get it till the NFC Championship with a Falcons loss and a win on Sunday. If not, they only get one home game. I don't see it happening. I don't this year. They've lost Earl Thomas, a huge guy on defense. They've lost now Tyler Lockett, who really is a key guy on the offensive side. The offensive line, I'm not sold in with the Seahawks, so I can't say that they are a top contender right now. I would have to say the Green Bay Packers, Falcons, and the Cowboys right now are those three top favorites. Next on, Houston. They clinched their second consecutive AFC South Division crown with a 12-10 win over the Bengals, thanks to a missed potential game-winning field goal from Bengals kicker Randy Bullock, who was a former place kicker for the Houston Texans. Did he have anything to do with this game? Causing that? No, I don't think so. Not that big of a deal. Texans, though, they're not that good. They are not that good. They don't have a quarterback. Tom Savage didn't have a good day. He's not the saving Savage of that team. Anywho, Houston, though, they've clinched. They're in the postseason again, so you got to give them credit, I suppose. Houston is going to be a team to watch later on. Then this goes into our Sunday games. Pittsburgh, they claim the AFC North Division thanks to a stretching reach. Yes, a stretching reach at the 1 yard line from their top target, Antonio Brown, their wide receiver, on his 4-yard TD reception with 9 seconds remaining to beat and kick their rival Ravens out of the postseason. Huge game. Huge win for the Steelers. They are hot. This is a scary team. I would not want to see this team match up against my team if I was an AFC fan. If my team was in the AFC, this is a dangerous offense. Watch out. The defense is playing good. Steelers need some credit. Next off, Chiefs knocked the defending Super Bowl champion Denver Broncos out of the playoff picture with a 33-10 blowout win on Christmas night. Matt and I both had the Chiefs. Must I remind you, and I totally forgot to do this, but Matty Highland had the correct score of the Saints-Buccaneers game. I knew it coming into the show. I needed to say that, and I forgot. Matty, that is a job well done, buddy. You are the first one to ever do that. So congratulations to you, my man. I hope now I get 2 of them right in a row, maybe, 2 in 1 week, maybe. The chances of that are very slim. Congrats to you. Just because we were talking Chiefs made me bring that up. And Matty, the Chiefs, I wish you were here. I want to hear what you have to say on the Chiefs. I don't have much to say, really. I didn't get to watch much of the game. I didn't even really get to watch the game. The Broncos, though, I would give them a C on the year. This was a pathetic year. They need an offensive line. If they get an offensive line, their quarterback, I think their quarterback decision will be all right. It's just finding an offensive line. The offensive line was trash this year. They had no run game. That's my take on the Broncos. Anything wrong with the late TD Casey pull? No. I think it spices up the rivalry. I like it. Just remember, though, Chief fans, if this happens when the Broncos are beating you in coming years, if it happens, don't forget, this was the play that started that. I love it. It spices up the rivalry. People love it. That's what makes football and rivalries great. I love it. Does the Don Terry Poe, the TD pass, though, from their big man to Harris, really give the Raiders hope next week versus the Broncos? Or do the Broncos still want to play the spoiler alert and beat the Raiders? I'm a competitor. I think everyone's a competitor. If you're out on that field, you are not playing to lose, unless you might get the number 1 pick in the draft. The Browns have got their win, so yeah, they might just play, hey, take this game. We want the number 1 pick. I do not see this happening, though. Running track, I would do the 400 as a warm-up race to my 800. There was one event in between each race. And I'd always tell myself, I'm just jogging this. I'm saving it for my main race, the 800. I get out there and I run hard. I mean, it's just something natural. You're a competitor. You hate losing. These guys hate losing. I don't think it has any effect, that pass. I think the Broncos will still try to play spoiler to the Raiders. And Knicks, Chiefs will clinch the division in a first-round bye with a win on Sunday over the Chargers and a Raiders loss. So that is a key game, too. It's funny because the Broncos are knocked out of this. They're the defending Super Bowl champs. But really, they control the AFC West to decide who wins it, which is kind of funny in a way. Not many people look at it that way, but if you're a Bronco fan, hey, you have one more week to kind of just brag about that, defending Super Bowl champs. Hey, we still control the AFC West determination who wins the division. So there you go. Monday Night Football. Cowboys put on a huge show on Monday night with a 42-21 win over the Lions. Holy cow. The Cowboys did not rest their guys, and they looked untouchable in the second half. Matty and I both had the Cowboys. We kind of thought they'd rest maybe some players. Are the Lions in trouble? Yes, I believe they are. They now need a win or tie versus the Packers on Sunday, or a Redskins loss to the Giants to clinch a playoff spot. Luckily, they will know if the Redskins beat the Giants or not before they get on the field. So definitely something to watch there. Lions, though, yes, 2 weeks ago we weren't even talking about them, not being in the playoffs. They've lost 2 in a row. It's not looking good. I don't know why. I'll get to it in just a second. Matthew Stafford's finger on his throwing hand, is that a big reason to blame their latest struggles? In a way, maybe, but in a way, no. The thing I'm really, if I was a Lions fan, I'd be really upset about is how they were down 3 possessions last night. 3 touchdowns. And they kept Matthew Stafford out there when the Cowboys' defensive line was just hammered. Everyone was flying to the ball, but Stafford took some big hits. He was limping off the field a couple of times. This is not good. This is not good. If I was a Lions fan, that game meant nothing. That game meant nothing once you were down 3 possessions. You just have to get the mindset. We got to go into this next game healthy to have a chance, And they kept Stafford out there. I don't know what Jim Caldwell was doing, but I wouldn't be very happy if I was a Lions fan. Now, focus to the Cowboys. Am I surprised they did not rest some of the starters? Yes and no. If they were to rest them, I felt like this was the week. Give them the week off, like it's a bye. Have them play week 17, because after this next weekend, they get that 1 week bye. So that's why I felt like this week was perfect for it. But I like they didn't, because the Cowboys look like they are rolling again. That was a good loss to the Giants. It really was. We'll see what they do this weekend. I'm not so sure. They play Philadelphia in Philadelphia. I would assume Zeke maybe wouldn't get very many touches. But I think Dak's going to be your man under center. I really do. So that's kind of my thought on that. But what has transpired, that Cowboys defense, after a few weeks ago, everyone said the defense had no pass rush. And if I recall, that Cowboys pass rush has looked pretty impressive the last 3 weeks. It's looking dangerous. This Cowboys team's starting to roll. I love it. I hope they don't rest the guys. I hope they limit maybe Ezekiel Elliott's carries a little next week, just so, he's not just banged up going into the bye, kind of give him some extra rest too. So that's our NFL recap. Got to get a drink, and then we will dive into the power rankings. NFL Week 17 power rankings. Matty Highland, here is his with some of his comments he got to me. He has the Cowboys at 1, best team by far. New England Patriots are his second team, saying Brady is still Brady, which I totally agree. He has Kansas City at 3, looked like best offense in country against Denver, the number 2 defense with most points scored against them this season with 33. I agree to that. The only thing I have to say is they were missing a key linebacker in Brandon Marshall, who is he's a huge asset to that linebacking, the defense. But yes, 33 points against them. That is a remarkable game. Next, he's got the Steelers at 4. They inched their way into the victory over the Ravens for the division title. That's what Matty's got at 4. And at 5, he's got Green Bay Packers, saying Rodgers is the MVP. Number 6, he's got the Falcons. Matt Ryan he has as the Offensive Player of the Year. He's got the Oakland Raiders at 7, sorry. Car injury drops him substantially, luckily to have already got a postseason berth clinched. Then he's got the Giants at 8. Somehow, someway they are in the postseason. I agree totally there. At 9, Miami Dolphins. Lucky the Broncos lost and are in the playoffs for the first time in 2008. I would have to agree. The Dolphins are a team who somehow sneaked their way in after starting 1-4. I mean, it's an awesome comeback to the year. And then he's got the Lions at 10. Got roughed up by Cowboys. Wild card berth and division hanging in the balance of Week 17's game versus the Packers. Mine, I'm just going to list them in order. I don't really have much to say on them. I got the Patriots at 1. I really do. I feel like Tom Brady, Bill Belichick, they are starting to click when they always do. I mean, this is the time when they're right back. New England's a favorite. It's always going into the postseason, it feels like. Belichick and Brady are so tough in Foxborough. If they get the AFC home field advantage, watch out. Yeah, I think it runs through New England again. I think New England, if they clinch home field, they will be I would have to say, the AFC champions. I got the Cowboys at 2. And then I got the Steelers at 3, the Chiefs at 4, the Raiders at 5. Just because I'm not so sure. I think the Raiders have something they're going to prove to some people wrong. I really believe that it could happen. And then next I got the Falcons. They're 6, Packers 7, Seahawks are 8, Giants are 9, unfortunately, and then 10 I got the Dolphins. That's our weekly pick'em, or our weekly power rankings. We will do one big spill at the beginning of the next week. That will have the official the regular season ending of the power rankings. We might, I don't know what Matty wants to do, but Matty Highland and I might just make a 30. We might do the whole 32 teams. So we'll see about that. We're going to go into our College Bowl recaps. And I've got tonight's games. I've actually already updated them. Did it right before I got on the show. But we're going to start with ones we haven't covered that we had talked about on Friday's show. Old Dominion defeated Eastern Michigan 24-20. Louisiana Tech defeated number 25 Navy 48-45. Troy defeats Ohio 28-23. Hawaii defeats Middle Tennessee 52-35. Mississippi State defeats Miami, Ohio 17-16 on a blocked PAT. Boston College defeated Maryland 36-30. North Carolina State defeated Vanderbilt 41-17. Today's games. Army defeated North Texas 38-31 in overtime. Wake Forest defeated number 24 Temple 34-26. Minnesota defeated Washington State 17-12. Baylor, they beat the Boise State Broncos 31-12. Baylor's known for offense, not defense. Pretty crazy. Holding the Boise State boys to just 12 points. The previews for tomorrow's games we've got number 23 Pittsburgh versus Northwestern, number 16 West Virginia versus Miami, the U of Florida. Indiana will take on number 19 Utah, followed by the last game of the night, the Texas A&M Aggies taking on Kansas State Wildcats, who this used to be a Big 12 conference game. Remember that? Yes, that's been many years ago, but they used to be in the Big 12. And then on Thursday, Thursday, South Florida will take on South Carolina, Arkansas versus Virginia Tech, and then another Big 12 kind of re-go is number 12, Oklahoma State versus number 10, the Buffaloes of Colorado. So definitely there are some bowl games. We will update our Capital One, give you a leaderboard. Braden Schultz and Billy Willard are tied with 14. I believe my dad is Frog or something. He is tied he's technically in third because of the tie at the beginning. Matty Highland's got 11. He's ahead of me by 2. I'm only with 9. Kind of a sad, bitter subject. Glad Matty Highland's not here to rub it in. But yes, that is mine. Now, let's shift gears. We don't talk about this much, but we're going to talk about some women's college basketball. As tonight, yes, that is correct. The Beavers, I am wearing a Beaver shirt. This very seldom happens. I'm a huge Duck fan, as most of you guys know. I had to represent the orange tonight in black, and it was an awesome time. But Oregon State women defeat Arkansas Pine Bluff 73-40 to wrap up their non-conference schedule this evening. I was there. It was awesome. I had a cousin that was playing for the Beavers, and she had a great performance tonight with 7 points. Congrats, Katie. It was awesome to get to see you play in person. Besides just the computer, it was awesome to see all the relatives as well. Great time, and I got a picture, and hey, I'm rocking the Beaver gear, so be happy about that. I'll always root for the Beaver women, that's for sure. So anyway, shout out to my cousin Katie. Awesome job. Also, her dad, he needs a shout out. Mr. 500. He's got over 500 career wins as a high school women's basketball coach. Awesome job there, Nick. Job well done. You still got more, though, to go. You got to go win a three-peat. You're looking for your third straight high school championship, so best of luck there. Oregon State, though, let's shift gears back there. Oregon State will now try to defend their Pac-12 championship for the second consecutive season and will open conference play, I believe, this Friday versus Washington State. So good luck to the Lady Beavers basketball as they go for that two-peat in the Pac-12 champion, or as the Pac-12 champions. Oregon State also will be looking to make it back to the Final Four, as they made it to the Final Four last year before losing to UConn, obviously, who is a huge powerhouse in women's college basketball, as they went on to win another national championship. By the way, Katie McWilliams led the Beavers in scoring as a freshman in that game against UConn last year on the big stage. That was awesome to watch. Congrats again, Katie. That is all for the women's college basketball topic, but Matty and I will be having retro Beaver gear on someday for some more Beaver talk. Some family, Donna McWilliams and Marlene and them have been so great, and we've got some clothing that Donna gave me tonight we're gonna wear, and a tablecloth maybe. So we're gonna have a Beaver Day someday for the women's basketball team. Let's look ahead though to the men's college basketball Week 8 rankings. Really no changes. Villanova, they're 12-0. UCLA, who is 13-0, I believe they play tomorrow against Oregon State in Corvallis. As we were getting pushed off the gym floor tonight, they were saying UCLA is coming in. That is a huge test to begin your Pac-12 conference for the Oregon State Beaver men's team. UCLA is 13-0. KU's 3, they're 11-1. Baylor comes in at 4, they're 12-0. Duke is 5, 12-1. Louisville jumps up to 6 after that win over Kentucky. They're 11-1. Gonzaga, They jump in at 7. They're 12-0. Kentucky falls to 8. They're 10-2. North Carolina 9. They're 11-2. And then Creighton rounds out the top 10 as they are 12-0. 5 teams, I believe. Yes. 5 teams are undefeated. Villanova at 1. UCLA at 2. Baylor at 4. Gonzaga at 7. And Creighton at 10. So definitely some good college basketball teams out there. Obviously, familiar faces. I mean, it's clear. You know, basketball. All those teams are usually in there, in the big dance and in it when it matters in the Sweet 16, Elite 8, Final Four, and then obviously the national championship. We're gonna look ahead to Friday. This kind of was a quick show. Holy cow! I'm almost out of breath, but we're going to look ahead to Friday. This is not my first time doing this show either. I've done it plenty of times today. We just didn't get it recorded as our internet was down. So I didn't have any idea that I was not recording. So kind of stupid on my part. But, hey, I feel like I know the script now. I can say it, you know, without this computer. But anyway, we'll look ahead to Friday. We'll obviously have our breaking news, hot topics, NFL Week 17 pick'ems, and then just more bowl recaps and matchups. Oh, it's good morning to all my West Coast family and friends joining us on the Matty Highland Smitty McQueen Sports Show. Definitely late night, early morning show. So feel like kind of Sports Center. However, you know, it's just not going to keep repeating on the same show unless you keep playing it. So that's going to wrap things up. Make sure you follow us on Twitter at MHSM Sports Show, along with follow and like our Facebook page, Matty Highland Smitty McQueen Sports Show. Also subscribe to our YouTube page, as it is Matty Highland Smitty McQueen Sports Show. I've uploaded, I think, about 5 or 6 videos since I have been out here. Try to get more of those updated. For those of you that are still awake and watching, thank you. That's pretty impressive for some of you. I know it's 2 o'clock back in Kansas and in the Midwest. So if you're one of those people, thank you for being so dedicated to the show. Glad to have you on. Like we said, we were going to try to get this in tonight, and I think we finally did. So thank you once again to my producer, my Aunt Cherie, and letting me just kind of terrorize your house. This table is exactly almost like the one we used back in Kansas. So it almost looks like I brought this table with me when I came out here, but I really didn't. So anyway, thank you again. Hopefully you guys that are just now catching this, hopefully you got some good sleep, and now you're ready to You've seen your Matty Highland Smitty McQueen Sports Show. So thank you once again for everyone that tuned in. And look forward, we'll be keeping an eye on, you know, Friday's schedule and stuff, and try to let you know as soon as possible. Thank you from Matty Highland, who's probably sleeping, sound asleep, dreaming, sogging logs, whatever else he might be doing. And from Smitty McQueen, thank you for tuning in to the Matty Highland Smitty McQueen Sports Show. Have a great night and get a good night's rest.